You can have your legs cross-legged or any position. You could also just have your back against something if that helped you to sit upright, okay? And let's just take a few moments here to feel the floor below your body. So noticing where you're making contact with the floor. You can look around, or you can let your eyes rest on one spot, or you could even close your eyes. Good. And then noticing just where your hips are making contact specifically. So you might be able to feel your sits bones back underneath you. And let's do a few pelvic rocks. So just like when we're on our backs on the floor, you could rock back and round a bit so your pelvis so it's like you're going back onto your tailbone or your sacrum. And then can you start to bring the pelvis forward? It might feel like you're bringing your belly button forward, and you'll rise up a little taller. And we're just focusing on the pelvis, so your shoulders and head and neck are not really doing the movement, they're just following. So you might notice that it's hard for you to sit upright. And I guess if you had something behind your back, it would be hard to go back. You might have to scoot away. Let's do a few more of those. Feeling where your natural seat might normally be, you might normally sit a little bit rounded. You could also try a different leg position. Good, and now let's find the center. So you're right up on your sit bones, if you can. And again, you can use the wall behind you if you'd like. And let's take a breath in with your rib cage stacked right above your pelvis. And as you breathe in, you can imagine that your whole torso is opening up like an umbrella in all directions. And then just blow out like you're blowing out through a straw slowly. And again. Until you get every last bit of air out. And then you can keep blowing out through your mouth, or you could breathe out through your nose, still trying to make it a little bit longer. And with your inhale, wider, like that umbrella breath. Noticing if you're holding tension in your shoulders, trying to let that go. Good, and now let's start to circle the torso. So if you're sitting against a piece of furniture, you might have to move away from that now. Just going around and around. A few times in one direction, and then a few times in the opposite direction. Good, and then coming back to the center, we're going to twist now. So again, you'll need to be away from the wall for this. Your legs don't have to be crossed, and you can use props if you want to. We're going to inhale, sit up tall, and exhale, let's twist to the right. You can bring your left arm across and your right hand behind you if you'd like. And then let's inhale back to the center. You can take your arms up if you want to. And then exhale to the left. Let's go back and forth with your own breath a few times. Notice if you're trying to twist with just your neck, and see if you can twist with your whole spine here. I'm going to do one more each side. Good. And then after you do your last one, just coming back to the center and noticing. So you can try to sit up tall again. Notice if you feel any different already. And let's feel the breath go in. Let's try a ratio breath now. So let's breathe in for 3 and out for 6. Okay, you can just count on your own. Count going in and out. Again, same with that umbrella breath. So just going to develop a rhythmic breath here. Okay, staying with that breath, let's do seated windshield wipers. So hands behind your back, legs out in front of you, and you can come off your prop if you want to, if it makes it easier. Just going to let those knees go down as much as you want, side to side. Go slowly and keep your breath going. Still that 3 on the in, 6 on the out, perhaps. You don't have to stick with that. You can even add in a little side seat twist if you want. So I'm going up on my inhale, and then when I put my knees down, I'm slowly turning around for my count of 6 and reaching. And then coming back to the center, let's stretch the legs out in front. And again, you could have something behind your back if you wanted to for this, or sit up on something. You'll need your blanket close by, okay? I'm going to inhale and pull the toes back, and exhale and point. And as I'm doing this, I'm watching my ankles just to notice, is one kind of funky? Does one foot go out to the side? Does one hurt? Just really paying attention to your own mobility and how the ankle and lower legs and feet feel. And I'm sitting up as tall as I can, and that's where you might use something behind your back. So I'm trying to keep my rib cage stacked over my pelvis. All right, now I'm going to start rolling the ankles, but I'm going to try to keep my knees still. So the ankles move, but the knees don't. Keep breathing. I'm drawing the biggest circle you can with both feet, and then the opposite direction. Notice if you get tight in your jaw or you start rounding through the spine. Good, and then just come back to the center, let your ankles relax. Let's work with the kneecaps now. So I've got one hand on each kneecap. I've got my thumbs on the inner kneecap, my fingers on the outer, and I'm just going to start moving the kneecaps side to side a little bit, seeing if you can get them to move. You might feel like a crunchiness, there's all sorts of sensations you might have, so noticing that. You might also not be able to move your kneecap. You might find that your quads won't let your kneecaps move, okay? So that could be happening. Now let's try thumb on the top edge, the edge closest to your belly, and fingers on the bottom edge of the kneecap, and now I'm trying to slide up and down and try to get some movement there. Keep breathing. Okay, and now let's let the kneecaps go. We're going to take your rolled up blanket, or you could use a towel as well. I'm going to put it below your knees. You can again be against a piece of furniture or not. So I'm putting it right below the knees here. I'm going to use my hands behind me if I don't have a piece of furniture there. And actually, before you put your hands behind you, let's try to get these quads to fire. So I'm going to take my hand to one of my thighs right above the knee, almost like a little lobster claw. I've got my thumb on the inside, fingers around, and I'm going to try to tighten the thigh muscle below my hand and right above the knee. As I do that, my leg straightens more, so my heel is lifting off the floor. Okay. And I'm still breathing and trying to relax my shoulders. Okay, and then once you've got one side working, let's try the other one. So get that squeeze of the hand. You can kind of squeeze in tight and try to tighten your thigh muscles against your hand squeeze. So it's almost like resistance for the muscle that you're creating with your hand. Trying to push your thumb out with the muscle. Good. Okay, now you can rest your arms, or you could even come onto your forearms if that felt better. Okay, what I'm going to do is now with the right leg, I'm going to try to tighten the muscle. So you see my heel comes off the floor, and then I'm going to exhale as I lift the leg up, and inhale as I keep that muscle tight all the way down, and then relax it. Okay, and then inhale, tighten the muscle. Exhale as you lift, keeping it tight. Inhale all the way down, and exhale, relax. Okay, inhale, tighten the muscle. Try to keep it tight as you exhale, go up. Keep it tight as you inhale, go down. And exhale, relax it. Last one, tighten the muscle. Exhale, go up. Inhale, keeping it tight as you go down. So the leg is straight here. Only go as high as you can with it straight, and then relax and rest. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. So I didn't say that the first time, but when you tighten the muscle, your leg has to be straight, right? I mean, that's what happens, is it straightens, okay? So we're going to try to only go as high as we can with that happening. Okay, so let's inhale, tighten the other leg. Exhale as you lift, just taking it as high as you can with the legs straight. And then inhale as you come down, keeping the leg tight. And then exhale, relax. Inhale, tighten. Exhale, lift, keeping that leg straight. Inhale, lower, keeping that leg tight, the quads tight. Exhale, let it go. 2 more. Inhale, tighten the muscle. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, relax. Last one. Inhale, tighten the muscle. Go very slowly. Exhale, keeping it tight as you go up. I think I said the breath backwards. Sorry about that. Coming down and letting it go. Good. And then just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your legs. You can sit back up if you're leaning back. And just shake it out. Good. All right. We're going to come onto our hands and knees and then up to standing. All right. So you can come onto all fours if you'd like, then walk your hands back in a bear get up. And as you stand, you can inhale to reach the arms up toward the ceiling. And exhale, slowly bring the arms out to the sides and down. You can do that 2 more times, okay? Inhaling on the way up and exhaling on the way down. Like you're making a big circle around your body, or big wings all the way out to the sides. And then once you come down, let's let the arms just shake out and release. Feel your feet on the floor, all 10 of your toes here, the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet. Rolling the shoulders a few times. In Tadasana, or mountain pose. And let's stay here for just a couple more breaths. You can let your eyes close if you'd like. Noticing your connection with the floor. and noticing your connection with your own breath. Again, can you come back to that rhythmic breath of in and out, in for 3, out for 6. Excuse me. Good, and then as you're ready with eyes open now, let's feel the 3 corners of your feet on the floor, ball of big toe, ball of pinky, side of the foot, and center of heel. And then we'll do some heel raises. You could always hold some furniture or the back of your chair if you'd like. I'm inhaling, lifting the heels. Exhale, lower. I might rock back and lift the soles of the feet, or you could just lift the toes too, okay? It's okay if you wobble around, just get your eyes on one spot. You can even add in arms if you want. Let's do a few more. Good, and then once you come down this time, just again feeling the 3 corners of your feet on the floor. And then we'll take the feet perhaps like about shoulders distance away. We're gonna do a little, or apart. We're gonna do a mini chair pose or Utkatasana, but coming in and out of it. So let's inhale, roll the shoulders up, and exhale, we'll bend the knees, letting the hands slide forward toward the knees and the butt go back. And then inhale, come up and roll the shoulders. And we'll repeat. Now you can go down a little bit, or you could go down deeper. Okay, so that's up to you. How far you go down, but do notice, are the knees staying the same distance apart, or are they kind of going in? Can you keep them the same distance as you bend? Same distance as your feet. Let's just do 2 more. Good, and then inhaling up, rolling the shoulders. Exhale, just stay here now. You can bring the feet back below your hips if you'd like, and notice the 2 sides of your body. Okay, follow your breath in and out. All right, we're going to be working with the ankles and hips on this next one. It's wobbly cowboy, which you guys, many of you have done with me before. Now, if it hurts your back to be hinged forward like this, then you don't have to hinge. You could do this seated in a chair and just work with the ankles and the hips and knees, okay? Or you could even use the back of your chair so you don't have to bend over as far. All right, I'm going to take my feet shoulders distance apart. I'm going to inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale and fold. I'm going to let the knees bend a little bit or a lot depending on what you need to get a neutral spine. Even though I don't need my knees bent to get a neutral spine, I'm going to bend the knees because that's part of the exercise, okay? So I'm bending the knees regardless, and I'm going to pull the toes up off the floor if I can, okay? And then from here, I'm going to let my breath flow as I start to wobble to the outer feet and the inner feet. So it's like I'm going bow-legged and knock-kneed, okay, back and forth, while keeping the bend in the knees and trying to keep the toes lifted. Try to relax through your neck and shoulders. You could even look at your feet as you do this and just notice how your ankles are moving, how this feels through your knees. And if you have to make any adjustments, do. Good. And then let's put feet flat on the floor and inhale, reach your chest forward. And as you exhale, let's step the legs back to a chair-supported downward dog. Knees can be bent or straight in that. Adding length through your torso. Breathing in for 3 and out for 6. Then inhale, we'll bend the knees, and exhale, taking a couple of steps forward. Inhale as you reach your spine forward. Exhale, chair pose, and inhale to stand up, reaching upward. Exhale, Tadasana, arms coming down. All right, noticing here the 3 corners of your feet again. Now, the next exercise we'll do, or movement we'll do, we're going to fold forward into that half forward fold. If that doesn't work, again, if it's bothering your back, you can try to stay upright, and I'll show an option for that. Okay, so feet are going to go shoulders distance again. I'm going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, bending the knees. Okay, so putting a bend in the knees. When you put a bend in the knees, my weight is going to be in the heels. Okay, so taking the weight back, all right, and we're going to do some donkey kicks, okay? So we'll inhale, lift the right foot off the floor, and then exhale, just kick it up toward the ceiling. Inhale, curl the knee forward. Exhale, inhale. And I'm letting my spine move. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now, if you didn't want to bend over, you could just be bringing knee up again and again, standing, okay? Then let's put that foot on the floor. Inhale, reach your spine forward. Exhale, downward dog supported again. Stretching back. You could also do downward dog on the floor if you prefer. Taking a breath in and then a breath out. And then when you're ready, inhale, looking forward and taking a couple steps as you exhale. We're going to do the other side, okay? Little bend in the knees, weight in the heels. When you're ready, inhale to lift the other foot off the floor. Exhale up and go forward and back. It doesn't have to match the breath. Just keep breathing. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then bringing that foot down. Inhale, reaching your chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees and stand. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, arms out to the sides and down. All right, now, if this next one, again, we're going to be hinging forward. If you're feeling it in your back and you don't want to be doing that anymore, you're going to have a seat for this one, okay? So you can have a seat or come into the same position that we've been doing. Let me show you, okay? So I'm going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees and reach your chest forward. And then exhale, take your weight into your heels. And then as you're ready, you're going to shift the weight to your right foot. Okay, lift the left foot off the floor. Now what I'm going to try to do is draw really big circles. So I'm going to, with my right knee bent, I'm going to lift my left foot out. I'm going to take the knee out to the side, then bring it forward, and then again, go back out to the side. I'm making as big of circles as I can. Now, the standing leg is going to be working a lot as well. So the standing leg hip can move, the knee can bend and straighten and move all around. If you were doing this in a chair, you'd be using your hand to circle your knee. Okay, so that's what this would look like. Okay, let's do a few in one direction, which you've already done, and then reverse directions. Challenge yourself to make these as big of circles as you can with the knee bent. The knee is bent the whole time, the knee that's moving. Good. Then come down. Inhale, reach your chest forward, and exhale, coming into that Adho Mukha Shavasana again, downward facing dog, either with the chair or without. In for 3 and out for 6. And then as you're ready, inhale to look forward and exhale a couple of steps up to the front. Inhale to reach your chest forward, and then exhale, weight in the heels, bending the knees. Inhale, right foot comes off the floor. You're going to keep that knee bent as you draw really big circles, maybe 5 in one direction and 5 in the other. And remember, you're letting that bottom leg move and shift and bend and straighten. And then doing 5 in the other direction. And then coming back to down. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale to bend the knees, chair pose. Inhale to stand. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Good. Let's turn the back of the chair toward you or toward your side. Doesn't matter which side. Okay. Now, the foot that's away from the chair, the outer foot, you're going to cross the ankle behind the other foot. Now, I do this kind of pose a lot of different ways. This version, we're going to have both our feet fully on the floor, so the heel's not up. Sometimes I do it that way, okay? So both feet are flat, which might mean that you have to separate front foot from back foot a little bit in order to stay balanced, okay? So that's fine. You can always step it a little more forward. You can also bend the knees if you need to, all right? Inner hands on the chair. And feel both feet grounded, and then inhale, take outer arm up. And then exhale, relax inner shoulder as you lean toward the inner side. Let your neck be at ease. Inhale, breathing into that outer rib side. Exhale. And again. And then let's inhale, reach up. And exhale, come down. Step both feet next to one another, and let's notice the two sides of your body and the 2 feet on the floor. Okay, and then let's do the other side. You can turn around or you can move your chair. So the inner hands on the chair. Outer foot is going to step behind the other foot, crossed behind. You want to feel like you could stand upright without holding on, right? So just adjust, widen front to back or bend the knees a little bit. Okay, and then place the hand on the chair. Inhale to reach the outer arm up. Feel the 3 corners of both feet. Relax the inner shoulder away from your ear as you exhale to lean toward the chair. Let the neck relax. You could always look down at your bottom hand or wherever it's most comfortable on your neck. And as you breathe in, you're breathing into those outer ribs, this side. And then let's inhale, reach back up, standing upright. Exhale, arm comes down. Feet step next to one another. Good. then standing 3 corners of both feet on the floor, noticing how you feel on both sides, Tadasana. You can let your eyes close this time if you'd like. And getting a sense for feeling like you're very grounded through those 3 corners at the same time as you're reaching upward through the top of your head. And then with eyes open, let's keep this chair on our side. I'm going to show this from the side. Okay. I'm going to take that outer leg to come back behind you in a minute. Why don't you watch me first, actually. So I'm going to inhale, stand tall. I've got the chair for support. I'm going to exhale, start to take that leg back as I hinge forward. Now, when I hinge forward, I can bend this knee to keep the hips square to the floor. And you might just go this far forward, or you might go further, okay? But you're staying long through the chest, so it's not here. It's not this, okay? You're trying to keep the length. Let's give it a try. So you've got your inner hand on the chair. The outer leg is the one that's going to come off the floor. You're going to inhale, Tadasana. And then as you exhale, let's soften the knees. So let's bend the knees a little bit, okay? And then inhale, as you take the right leg back, let's start to hinge at the hips, a little or a lot, okay? Now pause, wherever you are, pause. And feel with your outer hand, are your hips facing the floor? So just kind of find that, is your hip open to the side or can you turn it down? Okay, you can straighten the back leg, but you don't have to. Good, and I really feel my inner hip working. I feel that hip working so strong. Keep breathing. Keep reaching your chest forward. 2 more breaths. Weight is in the front heel or the bottom leg heel. And then inhale, stand up. And exhale, pause. Good. So hopefully what we're going for here is some strengthening of the standing leg hip, all right? So in order to get that, the hips have to be square, all right? So we'll try it again on the other side. So now you can turn around or move your chair. Again, inner hand is on the chair. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, as you put a bend in the knees, take your weight to your heels already, okay? And then inhale, start to shift to that inner foot, the weight, as you take the leg back behind you and hinge at your hip. Now notice, is your weight at the heel of the bottom of the foot? Can you tap the toes? That's what you're looking for. And then you can feel with your outer hand, is that hip facing the floor? Can you get it to face the floor? You don't have to keep the arm there by any means. You're just trying to get the idea of having the hips facing the floor. Keep reaching your chest forward. And hopefully you're starting to feel it in that bottom leg hip. If not, really shift to the heel more, square the hips more to the floor. Keep breathing. Good, and then when you're ready, let's rise back up. And bring the leg down. Good. Notice both sides. Now, we'll do something similar, but the back of the chair will be in front of us so we can have both of our hands on it, okay? The setup is going to be the same, okay? So both of our hands are on the chair, and inhale, stand tall. Exhale, let's put a little bend in the knees, but weight in the heels. So you can find that right now, that the weight is in the heels. It's going to stay in the heels, so you might have to adjust. I have to get a little further from the chair. As I take my left leg back, and I'm going to turn the hip to face the floor. Got a little bend in my standing leg. My shoulders are relaxed, but I can feel my hip working. Now from here, I'm going to do half moon rises. So I'm going to inhale and start to turn that left hip open to the side. My belly turns a little bit too. And then exhale, I'm going to turn the hip to face the floor again. And when I turn the hip to the side, I'm not turning my chest really. It's more of my belly and my hip. It's really my hip, but the belly has to follow. So I'm focusing on the hip rather than the whole spine turning. And you should start to feel, and I'm repeating. Sorry, I didn't mention that. I'm repeating this over and over. And do you see that I'm not rotating in the spine? Some of you guys are turning your chest like this, like kind of, you're keeping this down. Keep looking at the chair seat in front of you and just turn the hip. And you might not get as much of a movement. That's okay if it's small. You can really feel that bottom hip working. Good. And then let's bring it down. Let's stand upright. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. And exhale, take the shoulders down the back. Just notice. All right, I'm going to do the other side. I'm just moving so that my leg is facing you, the one I'm working. I mean, the one I'm moving. All right, so inhale, stand tall. Exhale, a little bend in the knees and find out how far you need to be away from your chair. Weight in the heels, okay? And then exhale as you take your right leg back. And you're hinging at the hips. Good, so weight is still in the bottom heel. I'm going to inhale, open the hip to the side, and exhale, close the hip to face the floor, and repeat. Neck and shoulders are trying to relax or soften. The next time you face the floor with the hip, bringing the foot down and bending the knees. Inhale to rise. Let's reach the arms up this time. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Good. Now I'm just going to do a few rocks on the heels again. You can use the chair in front of you if you'd like. And now let's take your right foot back, stretching the top of the foot into plantar flexion, and the top of the ankle, I should say, into plantar flexion, and the toes into flexion. You can always move it around if needed. Relax your neck and your shoulders and your jaw. In, breathing in for 3, out for 6. And now let's do the other side. Inhale, stand tall, feeling the 3 corners of both feet. Exhale, left foot goes back. If you get a cramp, you just kind of roll the foot around or come out if you need to. Good, and then standing with the 3 corners of both feet pressing down. Good. Now we're just going to try to scrunch the toes as though, like we did a few weeks ago, as though you were like trying to pick up a marble off the floor or even your own sock, and you can try it if you want. can take off your sock, reach down with the toes, try to lift your sock up, hand it to yourself so you get a little balance practice as well. You can try it a few times. So you're scrunching the toes to grab something and lifting up, bringing it down, and repeat. Good. And then you can try the same thing with the other foot. You can always do this seated too. Marbles are a good thing for this, or anything small like that. Socks are great too. They're a little easier. And or you could write like we did a couple weeks ago too. Okay, so you're picking it up a few times. Again, you can try it for balance, not holding on to anything, working on that as well. Good. And then we're going to have a seat in our chairs. All right, so from here, you're going to inhale to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Now, if you can, you're going to come away from the chair so that you can sit upright. Right, so you're not leaning like this, okay, if you can. Now we're going to inhale, bring the knee towards your midline, and exhale, press the knee down and out. Seeing if you can do that while staying totally upright, okay? Of course, you don't want any pain in the knee as you press it down, so be gentle. Now, some people will feel stretch right here when they start to press down. Others will, when they press down, and we're going to hold now, will need to also hinge at the hips as they do that in order to feel a stretch. So you do what is right for your body, where you feel some stretch in the outer hip. Again, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your neck. I've got my ankle in dorsiflexion as I'm doing this, so the toes are up toward the shin as though I was standing on the floor. And then as you're ready, inhale, rising back up. Exhale, you can bring the knee to the center and then uncross, setting it down. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, left ankle comes up and crosses. Okay. Then we're going to do that movement. Inhale, knee toward midline. Exhale, pressing it down. And so this is just a little test for your knee and hip, seeing like if this works in your body, if you have to make any adjustments. If you can do it, you're sitting upright rather than rounded. Okay, and then either pressing it down and staying upright, or pressing it down gently, of course, as you hinge. Neck and jaw relaxed. Dorsiflexion of your ankle. All right, and then inhale, come up. Exhale, uncross, set down. Good. I'm going to do a sit to stand 3 times, or chair pose to stand. I'm going to try to hover for 1 with as little support as you can. Come up 2 counts, down 2 counts, hovering for 1 before you sit, okay? So you can bring your feet underneath you a little more, just get where they feel right. Knees are going to stay as wide as hips. Or knees are going to stay as wide as feet. Okay, so inhale, exhale. I'm going to hover for 1. Inhale up, 2. Exhale down, 2. Hover for 1 and rest. Okay, with as little momentum as possible, hover for 1. You can just keep breathing, but up for 2. Down for 2, hover for 1, and sit. Last one. I'm gonna go up, down, and then up again. Okay, so hover for 1, up for 2, down for 2, hovering for 1, rest, and then we're just going to stand, but we'll do the pause, okay? So pause for 1, lift for 2, and stay. Good. All right, so for this next is another balance and leg strengthener. We're gonna use either a chair at your side or the wall behind your back. Either one could work. The wall would give a little more support, okay? So we're gonna inhale, stand tall. Exhale, lifting one leg up, knee bent. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, trying to straighten the leg. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, bend and step down. Okay, so when you do this, you guys, just take a pause. I'm gonna try not to lean. So if you got a chair at your side, you're trying not to lean into it. You're trying to stay upright. And when you go to straighten the leg, you might find you can't keep it as high. You might have to lower it to straighten it. That's totally fine, okay? All right, let's do the other leg. Inhale, tall. Exhale, lift the other leg. Inhale, tall. Exhale, straighten it. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, bend, bring it down. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, alternate leg. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, bend and down. Inhale, tall. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bend and down. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bend and down. Inhale, tall. Exhale, lift. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bend and down. Just one more each side. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bend and down. Last side. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tall. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bend and down. Nice work, you guys. Let's separate the feet a little bit and swing and twist. Try not to whack your chair with your hand. Let things flop around. You can look behind you. All right, you can take your chair out of the way unless you know you're going to use it for relaxation. I'm going to use mine, so I'm going to leave the seat at the front. And then you also might want your strap with you. I'll leave that up to you. We're going to do an extended leg stretch on our backs in a moment. So if you like to use a towel or a strap, you could do that. All right. Coming down to the floor consciously, mindfully, I'm going to use a bear get down. I'm going to inhale my arms up. Exhale, fold. I'm going to bend the knees, walk my hands forward and gently lower my knees. Good. I'm coming on to the back. Okay. I'm just coming onto my back with my knees bent. You could use something below your head if you'd like. Let's take a couple of breaths there, moving shoulder blades down the back. In for a count of 3 and out for a count of 6, just like we've been doing. And then when you're ready, let's bring the right leg in, and you can either hold behind the leg or you can use a strap. I'm just going to use my blanket as my strap. Putting it around the bottom of the foot, or you can hold behind your leg with your hands. Okay, either way. Your left leg can stay bent or it could straighten on the floor. Kind of relax through your shoulders. See if you can get your leg that's up all the way straight. And let's practice that ratio breath. So the exhale being twice as long or somewhere near that as your inhale. You can breathe out through your mouth or your nose. And if you can, feeling for relaxing your jaw, relaxing your hands and your wrists. And even letting your belly relax and move with your breath. Let's take a couple more breaths there. Good. And then when you're ready, you can bend the knee and release the leg. It can come down to the floor, straightening out both sides, and just notice the sensations in the two legs. And now let's bring in the other leg and place the strap, if you're using it, on the bottom of the foot, or you could put your hands, interlace them behind your thigh. Your other leg can be bent or straight on the floor. And just straighten that upper leg all the way if you can. Relaxing your jaw and your forehead. Good, and then as you're ready, releasing, let's straighten out both legs on the floor and notice for a moment. And then from here, you can do any last pose you might want, whether it's bridge pose or knees to chest or windshield wipers, whatever it might be. And then find your way to Shavasana, which is just flat on the floor resting, or any other supported pose. I'm going to place my legs over my chair, sticking them through the little hole in the back. You can get blankets to cover you or go below your head. And when you get to a position that feels supportive, you could take a couple of sighs. And then let your breath be as you notice all the places that you're making contact with the floor and your props. And feeling like you could sink into the floor a little bit deeper. Noticing where you might be able to soften, whether it's at your jaw or around your eyes, your hands, your ankles or inner thighs, your hips, your belly. And just noticing what's happening in your mind. Feeling your breath come in and out without having to control it.